Welcome to this video review and today I'm going to talk about all the details and how to mount it, how to adjust it, the scope mounts made by Blaser with 40mm rings. Why I'm doing a review of Blaser scope mounts? Because I think that they're really unique and because I think that they changed the industry in a bit, because no matter what we think about Blaser rifles, I'm a user, so I have to. This is a full disclaimer. I use Blaser rifles, so because I mostly see that people either love Blaser or they hate it. But still, no matter in which camp you're sitting in, we have to say that this school of thought that you produce one single scope mount that fits on all your rifles, and not only on, let's say, repeating rifles like R93 when these mounts first came out, or R8 now, but also on all your break barrel rifles, on side-by-side rifles, on Kiplauf, so single shot break barrel rifles, on combination rifles and so on. This is something very unique and very, very clever. There are still many manufacturers on the market today which have, let's say, 10 rifles in their portfolio and you need 10 different mounts for them. And Blaser has, I don't know how many rifles in their portfolio and one mounting solution for all of them. And this is something what is really unique and really smart. So, as I mentioned, this is the second generation already of their mount, even though the first and the second generation are, at least to my knowledge, interchangeable. They go on all the rifles, but they are designed differently. This mounting solution, I think, is already 25 years on the market, something like that. Because before this came out, at least in our area in Central Europe, it was like this. If you had a hunting rifle, you either had and you wished to have a detachable, repeatable mount, you only had two options. Either Sul claw mount or pivot mount. And then Blaser and Merkel also, which we shouldn't forget, came out with this unique brand-specific mounting solutions, which are, in my opinion, much better. The Blaser base is made, well, this saddle, as they say it, it's fully made out of steel. It's made in EU. It comes with 2 years warranty, even though, honestly speaking, scope mounts, they don't fail if they are installed correctly and used correctly. The rings for 40mm scopes, honestly speaking, these are rings made for Swarovski DS, because I haven't seen many IR scopes on Blaser rifles, so it's more or less just for Swarovski DS. There is only one dimension for them. They're 12mm high. Yeah, exactly 12. Oh, I measure it. Great. And they are 20mm wide. So majority of all other Blaser rings are 60mm wide. The exception is 34mm, the higher option, and this 20 is also this 40mm rings are also 20mm wide. So when you're putting this on, it's a perfect set for Swarovski DS. Even though if you're using any kind of thermal clip-on or a bigger moderator or something like that with your Swarovski DS, or let's say IOR, which also has 40mm tube, you can buy these inserts which add 4mm to the total height, like this, and then you have 16mm height. Honestly speaking, with the Swarovski DS, this will cause a little bit of problems when shooting really far, but it will give you the option to use any kind of clip-on, also if you have a little bit bigger moderator on your barrel. As you can see, there are 3 screws on each side of these rings, and you have to apply 2.2, maximum 2.3 Newton meters on them to get the proper force. And the rings are 2/3, 1/3 design. That means that no lapping on anything is needed, because the upper part just adjusts to the whole shape of the scope. When you put them on and a screw inside, you need to apply approximately 3 Newton meters of torque on these screws. 3, maybe 4. You have to be careful only not to damage the thread inside of the rings. If you don't have a torque wrench, you can still do it by hand, just you need to be a little bit careful. with the rings standard, or with the base the standard screws come. And these are longer for the inserts. Okay, now let's talk about the base. When you get the base and you put it on your Blaser rifle, you have to adjust the clamping mechanism so that the clamping force is just right, so that you get 100% repeatability. There shouldn't be any play inside, and there shouldn't be too much resistance when you're closing the clamps. And this is adjusted with these two screws. You have to put the rifle firmly into a stand so it doesn't move. You put the scope and the mount on the rifle, and then you clamp the last one first. You always clamp the last one first. Also, when you put the scope on and off, the last clamp has to be clamped first when you put it on. And also, it should be adjusted first. So, as you can see, there is no locking screw anywhere, which would lock these two bigger screws for adjusting the proper clamping force. There is some kind of self-locking mechanism inside. So you need a special screwdriver, which is really thin, not to damage the screws. And then you have to, let's say, build up torque before they let go. And when they let go, it's really easy and smoothly you're able to set this 5 Newton meters of torque on them. And when you're doing the readjustment once again, you will see again you have to apply much more. You have to build up the torque that they move. It's really interesting. There's some kind of self-locking mechanism or how it's made. It's really designed cleverly, and it's a high-quality product. When you do this, you will feel the proper resistance when you clamp this on your barrel. If you have multiple Blaser rifles, you know what I'm talking about. You feel just the right resistance to it, and then you know it's 100% repeatable and it will always work. Okay, I think I covered most of the things, so I can do a short summary. I would say that this idea of using one single mount on the whole portfolio of rifles, it's a brilliant idea, and I salute to Blaser to this solution. I hope that others will follow, that will start to think similarly. I also think that these mounts are really well made and really tried and tested, because there are hundreds of thousands of them only in Europe, not to speak around the world, and they all work. If something goes wrong, it means in 99% of cases that the installation was not done properly and somewhere somebody applied too much torque. If they're installed correctly, oiled from time to time, they will work forever, and they will always keep their repeatability. They're a bit expensive, but again, they're of high quality mounts, and you can also see even the Blaser sign here. It's really nicely made. I like the aesthetics because they're so fine and not too bulky. A lot of other mounts are bulky, but not this one. So now I hope I covered everything. If you're having a size scope with rings, not size rail, this is one of the best options for you. You can do the installation at home if you have just a little bit of skills and proper tools. Especially I'm talking about the screwdriver, which is thin enough to adjust the base to your barrel. If I forgot anything, if I did something wrong, please use comments below. I will be grateful for any pointing out any mistake I made or information I forgot to include. I will also be very grateful if you write any kind of suggestions of future videos which you would like that we do it on our channel. So thank you for watching. If you like this video, please subscribe and see you in the next one.